The children continued to gaze in wonder at the enormous church, which was so different from their own tiny village church. David asked his dad about the holy water font. "Why do we use water to bless ourselves?" he asked. His dad explained. "Water is a very important symbol in the church. Water is a sign of life. We cannot live without it." Matthew watched as the children dipped their fingers into the holy water and made the sign of the cross. They thought of Lucy, who was to be baptized in this church. The next day at Lucy's baptism, the priest poured water over Lucy's head and put a white cloth over her to show she was without sin. Lucy's daddy held a candle. The candle is a sign that we should be light to the world. The priest anointed her with holy oil, a sign that we are chosen by God. The following week, when Rosie and David went to Mass in their own little church, they saw the priest using water again to wash his hands. This took place before the consecration. This was the most sacred part of the Mass. This was the time when the bread and wine were blessed and changed into the body and blood of Christ. The children noticed the sign embroidered on the altar cloth and remembered what Dad had told them. The sign is called the Cairo and is the oldest sign of Christ. It is from the first two letters of the Greek word for Christ. The Mass is in remembrance of the Last Supper. During the Mass, bread and wine are changed into the body and blood of Christ. After Mass, the Blessed Sacrament was put in a special chalice with a lid, called the ciborium. It was placed in a precious place on the altar, called the tabernacle. There were fresh flowers on the altar. These flowers show that it is a very special place. At the side of the altar there is a red lamp called the sanctuary lamp, which burns night and day. It is to remind us that the Blessed Sacrament is there. When the children passed in front of the tabernacle, they went down on one knee. This is called genuflecting, and it shows that they understand that Christ is present in the tabernacle. Rosie looked around her church. She saw the Stations of the Cross, the Missal, the Cross, and the Ciborium. The cross is a reminder of the way Jesus died on the hill of Calvary. After 3 days, his friends found the tomb empty. We call this the resurrection of Christ. Every year it is celebrated on Easter Sunday. One crucifix had a figure of Christ the King. Rosie's daddy told her this was to remind us that Jesus was the King of us all, not like an ordinary king, but the King of Kings. The candle had a cross on it, with a date and the letters Alpha and Omega, the first and last letters of the Greek alphabet. It is a reminder that Christ is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end.